Welcome into Chicago Bears Now. My name is Harrison Graham. Hope everybody's having a fantastic week and enjoying the March Madness. What a game between Florida and UConn just earlier today. Thought I'd bring you guys another Bears video. We only had one video yesterday. Put out a mailbag earlier today, but I said, you know what? Our promise is we get you 2+ videos almost every single day. So on today's show, I'm going to take a look at 4 potential Bears cut candidates after the free agency additions. There could still be some moves, obviously, but 2 weeks in, I want to take a look at 4 players that I think could be on the chopping block after the moves Ryan Poles and Ben Johnson made. If you want to support this channel and support myself, there's an easy and free way to do it. Subscribe today. Hit that sub button. Doesn't cost you a dime. If you want to really go above and beyond, turn on those notifications. Join the Nota Gang here at Bears Now as well. We would greatly appreciate it as we continue to grow this channel. Okay, Ryan Bates. He was on my cut candidates list before free agency, and he's still hanging around. The guard, center, versatile offensive lineman who would not be in line to start, even though when they brought him in last year, that was the hope and the plan. Not only did they rebuild the interior offensive line with Joe Thuney, Jonah Jackson via trade, and Drew Dalman at center, they also re-signed Doug Kramer. They tendered and brought back Bill Murray. So where does Ryan Bates fit? Now, you could say, and probably would say, that Ryan Bates is better than Doug Kramer and Bill Murray. My point is, though, is that there's been a lot of investment on the interior offensive line. You also have Ricky Stromberg, who can play center. To me, if they feel good heading into the draft with Stromberg and Doug Kramer at that center position to at least be competent backups, then what do you really need Ryan Bates for? That's kind of my thought. Now, again, is he better than them? Yes, but he had an arthritic shoulder problem last year. He had a concussion that knocked him out at the end of the season, and he cost $4 million. It's not a ton for a backup, but for a guy with injury problems, when you have other guys in the mix now, I just don't know if it's necessary. Like I said this a few weeks ago, I'll say it again. I would rather cut Ryan Bates and re-sign Matt Pryor with that money. Like, to me, that's a better use. Now, Matt Pryor can't play center, so if you don't think Stromberg and Kramer can be adequate at center, one of those two guys, okay, I guess keep him at least through the draft in case you don't get someone in the draft that can be your backup center. But I just, to me, sometimes moves just don't work. Like, Ryan Poles really liked Ryan Bates for whatever reason. He tried to sign him 3 years ago, didn't work out. He traded for him last year. He's going to be my starting center. Didn't work out. Just cut your losses. Like, that's kind of where I'm at. If you want to wait till after the draft, fine, so be it. But I just, to me, this thing has kind of just run its course, and I don't expect Ryan Bates to really be a part of this thing moving forward. Dominique Robinson, kind of the same deal, right? You take a swing on day 3 of the draft in your first draft. It just hasn't come to fruition, right? Strong athletic profile, was still learning the position. 3 years in, I don't feel like he's a better player now than he was in 2022. His biggest plays last year were on special teams, and there's value in that. But you tender Daniel Hardy, who's one of your best special teams players, who also is a defensive end, and who so happens to be a better pass rusher than Dominique Robinson. They obviously brought in Dayo Odeyingbo, who's going to take snaps. Austin Booker's ahead of him in the pecking order. Don't believe me? There was a video captured over the weekend. Grady Jarrett, Austin Booker, Montez Sweat, and it might have been Dayo or someone else were working out in Florida with one of Miami's defensive line coaches. Dominique Robinson wasn't in that grouping, so is he a part of this moving forward? Now, who knows? I mean, that's just guys working out in the offseason. It's not like it's an organized, team-organized event, but at the same time, what is Dominique Robinson gonna become at this point? Now, maybe with your new D-line coach, you want to at least keep him through training camp and see if he can take a step. Again, that's fine. These aren't guys you have to cut right now by any means. Only Ryan Bates saves notable money at $4 million, but it's just one of those situations where we're 3 years in with Dominique Robinson. Is something going to change in year 4? Like, to me, he's a below average backup who's a fine special teams player. You can do better than Dominique Robinson with your depth pass rushers. Today's show is sponsored by Turtle Beach, the #1 brand in gaming headsets and accessories. I'm rocking my Turtle Beach headset today, and it picks up audio so clearly that you're basically cheating when you game. Get 10% off with code CHAT at turtlebeach.com/chat. I personally recommend you get their all-new Stealth 700 headset, as the sound quality and comfort are incredible. The 3D spatial audio has taken my gaming to the next level, especially in high-paced games like Fortnite or Call of Duty. The Stealth 700 headset also has the industry's first ever cross-play dual wireless transmitter system. That means you can seamlessly switch between your consoles and PC with just a click of a button. It gets even better, folks. While being connected to your console, the Stealth 700 can connect with your phone for music streaming or taking calls at the same time. Listen to your favorite songs while gaming, all done with the Stealth 700. Head to turtlebeach.com/chat. Use code chat to get 10% off your entire order. That's 10% off with code chat at turtlebeach.com/chat. After you purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them. So tell us we sent you here at Chat Sports. It'll help support our show. Get the ultimate immersive gaming experience with Turtle Beach today. Okay, speaking of which, depth defensive lineman Zacch Pickens, I think, could be a player that could be in a little bit of trouble. It felt like a reach at the time. This was a kind of a traits pick, RAS score, yada, yada. A couple things with Pickens to me. One, I think he's been out of position since day one. So we'll see what the new coaching staff looks like. But he's just over 300 pounds, and he's been the backup nose tackle to Andrew Billings. He's not a nose tackle. I could have told you that when they drafted him. Remember when they drafted Gervon Dexter than him? I remember thinking like, oh, okay, Gervon's going to play more one tech and Pickens will be a three tech. Well, Pickens has played almost no three tech, and Dexter's played three tech, which he can, but I thought Dexter would get more looks at one tech. It's just been weird from the beginning, and Pickens just hasn't shown much. He was a healthy scratch by the end of last year when you were losing 10 games in a row. It's like, if they thought he was something moving forward, wouldn't you be playing that player? They tendered Chris Williams at $3.2 million. It's non-guaranteed, so they could cut him at any time. But to me, Zacch Pickens has an uphill battle because this is a good defensive tackle draft. They're going to draft somebody, I think, even if it's on day 3, to come be a rotation piece. And that player is probably going to be better than Zacch Pickens based on what we've seen through the first few years of Zacch Pickens' career. So I'm not that optimistic about him moving forward. I'd like to see him get more run at 3 tech and see if he can show you something there, but maybe they don't like his quickness enough. But I think with the Grady Jarrett move, he's going to play a lot. Dexter's going to continue to play a lot. Billings coming back from injury. That's your big 3. We know Dayo Odeyingbo is going to kick inside. Both he and the coaching staff have said that on record. They're probably going to draft somebody. Chris Williams got tendered. I mean, is he like your 6th defensive tackle once training camp gets here? You're not keeping that many defensive tackles. Okay, and then a player we've talked about a little bit is Tyler Scott. I would not cut Tyler Scott. I still believe in his speed and his talent, but they've signed 2 receivers who overlap with his skill set. Olamide Zaccheus, an undersized slot receiver who's more proven in the NFL, had the best year of his career last year with Washington. Devin Duvernay, who's a tremendous punt and kick returner who can also give you some juice on offense. I knew Tyler Scott didn't play much last year, but I saw his actual stat line the other day. He had 1 catch for 5 yards last year. How is that possible? Again, I don't want to make it all about that coaching staff, because if Tyler Scott was showing them more in practice, I think he would have at least had opportunities. But man, you lose all these games in a row. You don't even give Tyler Scott a look. Brutal. I would think with Ben Johnson's creativity and his work with speed guys in the past that maybe he would have a plan for Tyler Scott, or think that he could show him something, but maybe not. I mean, they've added 2 guys. Now, the wide receiver room from a depth standpoint isn't that crowded right now, so I think here today he would make the roster. But what if they draft a guy? What if they add another free agent? I think Tyler Scott, what I've said for a few weeks now, at minimum, he's going to have to earn his spot on this team. He is not a lock to make the roster. Like Olamide Zaccheus, he's a lock to make the roster until proven otherwise. Devin Duvernay, I think he's a lock to make the roster with his kick and punt return ability. So right now, those 2 guys, along with DJ Moore and Rome Odunze, are locks. That's 4 wide receivers. So I would say Tyler Scott's your fifth guy right now, even if he's ahead of Duvernay in the receiver pecking order. But again, Duvernay as a returner is going to be on this team. So it becomes a number crunch game. Can Tyler Scott show enough as a receiver that he's worth keeping around? Can he contribute on special teams, even if he's not your primary returner, like Devin Duvernay is going to be? I think he can. We just didn't see it last year, whether it was unfair because he didn't get the proper opportunities, or for another reason, it just didn't happen. So I'm rooting for Tyler Scott. He's a good kid from all accounts, but I think again it's a bit of an uphill battle for him at this point in time. Okay, name a player that you guys think should get cut by the Chicago Bears, whether it's now or just before roster cut down day at the end of training camp. Drop his name down in the comments. I would probably say Ryan Bates because he does save you notable money at $4 million. But what say you? And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We are continuing to bring you guys daily Bears content for 100% free. We'll be live tomorrow as well at 4 o'clock, 4:30 Central Time, somewhere in that range. So join us for that. My name is Harrison Graham. Bear down.